What am I going to show you today? Stick around. You might find this very interesting. Well, my project today has something to do with this particular wall and these other walls. Now, what do you suppose my project's going to be today? Haha. It's going to be how to remove wallpaper. And this is the wallpaper I'm going to remove. I'm not going to use anything fancy to remove it. How am I going to remove it? Am I going to remove it with a hot iron? No. How about hot steam? No. How about going out and renting one of those wallpaper remover machines down at the rental yard? No. I could use one of those, but I don't have very much wall to do. I mean, it's a little bit. It's a little kitchen right there. Okay, the bay window area, and a little bit right over here. Okay, that's it. And it's going to be a little tedious, you know, going around. Hey, what happened to my light? Going around this window. It's got wallpaper here. It's not showing up very well, is it? Let's see if I can get a better shot of it over in this direction. No? Let's try that again. I got my trusty little light over here now helping me. I've got the wallpaper around this alcove. It's called a bay window. I've got that to do. And right up here, even on the ceiling right there. And just this little kitchen area. So I should be able to do this nice and easily today. And what all am I going to try to remove this wallpaper? Now, the first thing I had to figure out was this just regular paper wallpaper or vinyl wallpaper? And you should be able to figure that out really easily. You just want to look at it and see if you can see any of the texture of the wall on the inside, if it hasn't been smoothed out, or if you can see little ridges or anything back there. I see a pucker line right here where the joint is, and I know this is paper wallpaper and not the vinyl. The vinyl wallpaper is nice and thick. Well, sometimes you have a problem removing that. And the reason being is depending who installed it and whether or not they put a primer on the wall first before they put the wallpaper paste. When you pull that stuff off, sometimes that pulls the top layer of the sheetrock paper off, and that's a bad thing. But enough of that. We're just going to be concentrating on removing regular paper wallpaper. It's kind of thin. And we're going to do it in such a way to where we're not going to affect the existing wall surface on the back side of that. You ready for this? You want to know exactly what I'm going to try to use to remove this wallpaper. And it's not going to cost you hardly any money to remove this wallpaper. Stick around. You know, before I get going with this little project, I'm going to move this table. Make sure to kind of move things around and have a nice wide open area where you're going to be working, okay? I'm going to do that, and then we'll get started. Now let's see what all bag of tricks Joe's got to show you today on how to remove this wallpaper. We've got a bucket here. I'm going to fill that up with some water, maybe halfway full. I've even got a spray bottle here I'm probably going to use. I might even use some sponges. And I've got a nice little putty knife. It cost me $2 or $3 at the hardware store. I want to make sure I have a nice sharp edge on here. Okay? And I had some cheapo sponges. These are kind of small, so I don't think I'm going to use those, but I might in the smaller areas. We'll see. I've even got a little scouring type pad. You know, you could use a sponge like this that has a scouring pad on one side if you want to do that. I've even got a mop. Okay, I think I'm going to use that too. We'll see how that goes. And I've got just my little step ladder, and I've got the step ladder. It's got the big steps. Sometimes you can get step ladders at the store that are kind of smaller steps. Well, those are kind of tricky sometimes when you're going up and down the steps. I've tripped over those before. So if you get a chance to get a step ladder, get one with the wide rungs, you know, the wide foot pads. And this top edge here, that'll help you kind of balance yourself and that kind of thing. Okay, that's it. That's all I believe I'm going to use. Now I've got some mini blind shades here too. And I think I'm going to pull those and remove those off these windows as well, and then probably put them back up. You see, I'm not going to be the one to refinish these existing walls and painting. It might need to be textured or smoothed out, whatever. Somebody else is going to be doing that. But the thought was, you know, if I take these down to remove the wallpaper, I don't really want to leave them down because the owner might want to leave these blinds in place. So it's like catch-22. What do I do with it? Do I leave them up and do the wallpaper around it, let somebody else do it when they take those down? I'm choosing not to do that. It shouldn't take very long to remove the blinds. I got 3 windows here to do. That one, and this one over here. And then I'll end up putting them back up. That way when the painter comes, the taper comes, they can remove them and do whatever they want to do. Okay? That way I can finish my job.